After posting relatively fewer cases in the past 2 days, the health department logs more than 11,400 new COVID-19 infections. The country has now breached the 900,000 mark in total caseload. Some local governments in Metro Manila are making adjustments in their vaccine rollout as supplies are running low. The Science and Technology Department is now in advanced talks with 6 pharmaceutical companies that are planning to put up facilities here. Malacanang refuses to disclose President Duterte's next move on China's intrusion in the West Philippine Sea. More than a year into the COVID-19 pandemic, proper ventilation remains a problem among public utility vehicles. And in light news, the internet is all praises for a small business owner in Quezon City who set up a community pantry for those in need. Focused and fearless, here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. The limited supply of COVID-19 shots has prompted Quezon City to temporarily halt its online booking for vaccination. Other local governments in Metro Manila admit facing the same problem. Greg Gregorio has the report.
Several LGUs in Metro Manila are running low on COVID-19 vaccine supplies, more than a month since the rollout. In Marikina, more than 15,000 residents have registered for the program. But Mayor Marcy Teodoro says only 4,000 or about 30,000% have received their first dose. Now that they have already set aside a supply for these individuals' second dose, they are close to running out of jabs for the first dose of other registered recipients. The latest addition of 2,000 doses of Sinovac shot are about to be consumed next week.
Gusto natin bigyan din na yung 2,000 doses na yon ay 2 doses per person, bawat individual. Kaya yung 2,000 doses ay para lamang sa 1,000 individual.
In Manila, a little over 70,000 out of almost 300,000 have yet to receive their shots. Mayor Isko Moreno says the remaining supply will be allotted for the second dose. Due to the same problem, the local government of Quezon City has halted its booking for vaccination.
We have to put that on hold because we don't want people to keep on registering and in turn wala naman kaming kaya ibigay na bakuna. So basically, we are asking for DOH for additional allocation.
The health department has reported that about 2.8 million of 3 million available doses have already been distributed to vaccination sites across the country.
When you look at our numbers, wala pa ho talaga yan sa target natin. Pero ang maganda ay nakapag-umpisa na.
Malacanang assures the public that another batch of COVID-19 vaccines is expected soon.
At may inaasahan pa tayong 1 milyon na darating sa loob ng buwan ng Abril, no? Galing po sa Sinovac, and 500,000 yung kauna-unahang makukuha natin galing sa Gamaleya.
To have more supplies, the government is looking to establish local manufacturers in the country. The Science and Technology Department says the DBM has initially allotted 283 million pesos for this. Talks are underway with 25 foreign partners who are interested in manufacturing shots. At least 6 local pharmaceutical companies have also expressed interest to take part. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
The health department logged more than 11,400 COVID-19 cases on Thursday. This brought the total caseload to more than 904,000, more than 183,500 of which are still active. The death toll is now at 15,500 with 148 additional fatalities in the past 24 hours. 850 new recoveries were recorded to date, pushing the total tally to 705,000. Now, an international studies professor says the government should have a unified stance on China's illegal presence in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Speaking to One News, the chiefs, Professor Renato De Castro said it appears that both the Defense and Foreign Affairs departments know the real score in the issue. But in the same program, political expert Dean Domanhit said President Duterte, who has been calling China a friend, seems to be lost. The two agreed that Manila should cling to its allies and develop a multilateral approach to assert its 2016 Hague victory.
Problem is we see strong statements from Secretary Lorenzana, Secretary Locsin. But at the end of the day, who is the chief architect? Is that the word, Rene? Chief architect. That's the president. Who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces? It's our president. He seems to be quiet.
Now, more stories after this short break. We'll be back. Now, despite criticisms, spokesman Harry Roque refuses to disclose President Duterte's next move on the West Philippine Sea issue. In today's briefing, Roque expressed confidence that it won't take long for China to withdraw its ships because of its close ties with the Philippine government.
Ang larangan ng diplomasya, isang exception to freedom to information. Kung ano man ang ginagawa ng Presidente, hayaan na natin gawin niya yon sa isang pribadong pamamaraan dahil hindi naman po dapat inaanunsyo sa publiko kung ano yung mga diplomatic initiatives at hakbang na ginagawa ng Pangulo.
And we'll be back with more stories after this short break. Stay with us. Oo. Tama. Suot naman. Tignan mo to. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Proper ventilation remains a problem among public utility vehicles more than a year into the pandemic. But with few public transportations, how can commuters avoid the risk of getting infected in these places? Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us the front seat to this story.
This is Metro Manila public transport under the modified enhanced community quarantine, the second strictest form of lockdown that we have. But despite the COVID surge, it doesn't seem strict at all. This city bus has all of its seats fully occupied. People are sitting side by side to maximize space. The windows are closed so that passengers can keep cool with air conditioning. All these conditions violate health and transport protocols that have been in place since last year. Under the protocol set by the Department of Transportation, public utility vehicles are only allowed 50% capacity. All passengers must sit one seat apart, and ideally, air is allowed to circulate freely. The same rule applies for buses, UV express vans, jeepneys, shuttles, taxis, and PUVs vehicles. The Department of Labor has its own guidelines on public transportation for NCR. Public vehicles should crack their windows open by at least 3 inches, and doors must remain open for at least 15 seconds after a passenger's entry or exit.
So, dapat kasi hindi natatrap yung hangin na umiikot sa loob na isang sasakyan. So, kung mag-circulate, parang meron kang ini-introduce din na supply air coming from outside.
But implementation has been spotty at best.
Actually na nasa biyahe na talaga, hindi. Kasi gawa ng aircon to ano nang talaga yun ng pasahero dahil UV Express nga, di ba?
Sa tagal ko nang sumasakay dito simula nung nag-pandemic, wala pa naman ako nabalitaan na nagka-COVID sa mga kasama ko dito.
In its latest recommendation, the Healthcare Professional Alliance Against COVID-19 called out government for its lackluster enforcement of health standards and proper ventilation in mass transportation.
So I'm in one of those open windows buses right now, and as you can see, natural air is coming in, which then disperses the concentration of the droplets, which lessens the chance of transmission.
Another option recommended by the U.S. Center for Disease Control are HEPA filters in public vehicles. Marasigan says this can be considered, but expect a pushback from transport operators.
Siguro it's voluntary na pwede, pero hindi natin pwedeng gawing parang mandatory.
It's ideal that all health protocols are followed, but that's not always the case. So whether or not others follow them, we know the right thing to do. Simply wearing a face mask and a shield can increase our chances of survival, so we can live to fight another day. I'm Jacob Lazaro, and we are One News.
Now here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. President Duterte has allowed the government to enter into new mining agreements as long as they comply with existing mining laws. This is after he signed EO 130, which lifted the moratorium on new mining agreements previously ordered by ex-President Aquino in 2012. A Senate panel has adopted the resolution urging President Duterte to rescind his order to lower tariffs on imported pork. At least 17 senators backed the resolution, saying such order would kill the local hog industry. And a senior Japanese ruling party official says canceling this year's Olympics in Tokyo remains an option amid the worsening COVID-19 situation in the country. Toshihiro Nikai of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party says the Olympics are of no use if it would only become a super spreader. Japan is in the middle of a fourth wave of infections, although the government and organizers are adamant that the games push through. Now for some light news, a resident from Quezon City is getting praises on social media for putting up a community pantry. Now those who are in need may take food and other essential goods from a bamboo cart along Maginhawa Street. Those who are more fortunate, meanwhile, may replenish the supplies in order to help more people in the community. The hero behind the idea is Ana Patricia Non, who said she was inspired by and agitated by the current COVID-19 situation. The 26-year-old small-time business owner calls on other people to start the same initiative in their neighborhoods. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News. Five.